Well, before we left for Galesburg and Burlington, Iowa, we had a chance to tape the segment with Bob. He wanted to give us an update on the air conditioner. So before we hit the road here in a few hours, what's the latest? It looks obviously we're in the Tom Sawyer car.
Well, we got one of them up and running. I think, Rob, you were filming as we were hooking up the mounting the unit, taking the old units out, mounting the units, and
good 3 to 4 week process, eh?
Yeah, well, there's just a lot involved in all of the wiring that has to run down to the bottom and then back up to the top. And we had an air conditioner guy come in yesterday, and he ran all of the line sets here. These are these coolant lines here. That one is a return. One comes in and it cools it, and then it returns it hot, and that one actually takes the heat out and dissipates the water and pulls all the water out.
Wow.
But that's involved with the Freon and stuff, and it's something that I don't do on a regular basis, and you got to be extremely careful when bending this stuff, because if you get kinks in it, that's what he does for a living. I do a lot of things for a living, but not that. So we got this one going, and it's keeping it pretty cool. I think it's down to 68 degrees in here, and it's quite hot outside today.
It is nice. It is very nice in here.
It's just amazing how quiet that system runs.
Yeah, you can hear it in there in the vestibule, but in here you can't hear it at all.
Like if you go into some of the other cars, you can hear that fan just screaming away in there. But this is up to date, current.
Mm-hmm.
The other ones, the older ones, there's a couple wires and a switch or two. These got 3 or 4 processors in them, and all kinds of computer boards, which is unfortunate. If something does go wrong, them old ones have been around for how long, and all you really ever have to do every so often is charge them or replace a capacitor or something. But unfortunately with these, if something does go wrong, especially the units that are underneath, all of the computer stuff and the boards are up top, so the whole unit will have to be dropped out just to access anything, to do a repair. But there's not much choice, small space to work with.
So now that we got one of these in, then you'll be able to come back and do the wiring.
We'll get the other one going.
Okay.
We'll get the other one going, and then because we're looking at the bathroom here.
This
is why I was waiting to finish off the bathroom. If you look on this side here, all of this stuff here is going to end up getting pushed over. I got a box around this.
Okay.
Then
so the sink will be
no,
here?
Toilet will be here.
Toilet
will be here. Sink will be over here. And then all of this stuff will go into that corner, and there'll be a box, and a water line down through there.
Okay.
Actually, there'll have to be, another water line that comes down here inside this one for the toilet.
Okay.
But even in building a house, the HVAC, he gets first run at running things through your rafters and your joists. He has the hardest. He can't just turn something or make something go somewhere. So generally they get the first run at things. That's why we didn't pull nothing through here until he was done.
Okay.
And now that he's done, I can pull my water lines through there. And
wow. And this will be another bathroom over here too. So then the women's are kind of the same issue too with the
same thing.
Ceiling to get that done.
The same thing. Got to wait for the lines. Got to put a fan system in here.
All right. Well, we'll check back with you, I guess, August when we return back to town, and I know you're going to keep us updated with pictures or any other exciting stuff that goes on while we're on the road. So, all right. Thanks a lot, Bob. Appreciate it.
Rock and roll.
Okay, thanks a lot, Bob, and keep us updated as we're on the road about what you're doing up there at the Wisconsin Great Northern. Since we are on the road, we have a special guest here in Burlington, Iowa. Stephen Parker's joining us on our Sunday update, and you're going to take us down to the depot, and you're going to show us the Mark Twain Zephyr track. Is that right?
Yes. Yeah, the original. Well, it's actually been replaced, but that's been the what they call the Zephyr Track.
Okay.
And that ran, of course, Mark Twain ran from St. Louis to Burlington, and Burlington was its mid destination, and then they made a return trip about an hour later, and they made a Y just right next to Crapo Park there, and then they backed in from that Y into the main track there.
Nice.
Called the Zephyr Track. Unfortunately, the area is still there. It's got new rail and new ties in it, but at least they kept it. And So it's just been just enjoyable, just sharing the memories of the Mark Twain as one of the Zephyr fleet.
Well, let's
Chicago,
magically
Burlington,
transport. Let's magically transport ourselves right now to the Burlington station. Let's take a look.
Very good.
Well, this was called originally the Zephyr Track, and when the Mark Twain was beginning and it was inaugurated, it ran, of course, Mark Twain ran from St. Louis to Burlington, Iowa for a return trip in the afternoon. And just about 3 miles south of here, there would have been a Y that was explicitly built for the Mark Twain. And so it would be heading northbound, of course, with Engine Joe leading. It would turn into the Y, then would back on to the main, to the what they call the K-line track, and then it would back into the depot here. And right along this particular track, it would back in, and then the trainman or the conductor would work an air brake from back, and it'd stop approximately, the back end would stop approximately right here, and then it would be here for an hour, and it'd be the passengers would detrain. They'd wait for other Zephyrs to come in because the Burlington was the northern hub of for the CB&Q for the Mark Twain Zephyr, and they had other Zephyr trains obviously pass through here. And so what would happen then, they would resupply, and they'd do some cleaning and things, and within an hour then they depart again for St. Louis, and then they would just pull out straight and head right down to St. Louis and pass through the various cities, which Robert Taburn here is going to be showing the program. Now, right along, do you see where the baggage cars are there? Down at the end, the baggage carts, I should say.
Oh, the baggage
carts?
For the
I said baggage carts.
That's
baggage
right.
carts,
Yeah.
And that's where the Railway Express would use, and also for baggage to go on the Zephyrs. Just to the left of there was track that went in there, and they had an RPO car that was from the Rock Island. And when the Zephyr Rocket, which would have been another sister train, that when it started in 1948 to 1967, they had an RPO car that would be parked there. And that was kind of unique how the Zephyr Rocket worked too, because they'd also, you go down where you see the Burlington, where the old hotel was, just past the 3003, the Zephyr Rocket would pull in on the main line, and then they'd Y it back to towards the river, and then they'd head up north to Minneapolis, St. Paul. So that was kind of unique how they did that.
And you said, as far as you can tell, this stub track that ends here at the station in Burlington was specifically built
Yes,
in 1935.
yes, for the Mark Twain. Now, over the years, they've used it for other things too. But you know, when the Mark Twain went out of existence, they've had other cars, sited here and things. I remember in 1996 when they had the 1522 Frisco, and they had the special run between Burlington and Galesburg for railroad days. They had the 1522 and its two tenders parked just north of here.
So thanks for showing us around and being a great guest in your hometown here of Burlington, Iowa.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're watching this, we will be at 2 o'clock this afternoon. We'll be at the Mount Pleasant Depot. So come by. We're going to do our presentation at 2 o'clock. We'll be there all the way to at least 5 o'clock, maybe a little bit later. And then on Monday, we will move on to some other stops, Fort Madison and Keokuk, Iowa. So we got a full week, and watch our Facebook and our Twitter pages for updates. And we'll be back with another full update next Sunday, the 25th of July. Have a great day. I'm Robert Taburn, Director of Passenger Development for the Wisconsin Great Northern Railroad. And thanks again, Steve, for showing us around. Have a great week. Thanks so much for joining us for another update on the Mark Twain Zephyr at the Wisconsin Great Northern Railroad. Before you go, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's really easy. Depending on what browser you have, just click on the red subscribe button on the lower right-hand side below the video screen, or perhaps it might be in the upper right-hand corner of your screen. This way you won't miss any of our future updates. For restoration updates throughout the week, head over to marktwainzephyr.com and click on the Restoration Updates link. We usually add a few photos during the week. Our next video update will be next Sunday afternoon. And remember, you can stay in touch with us throughout the week 24/7 on social media. We mainly use Facebook at Mark Twain Zephyr. We also occasionally use Twitter at Mark Twain Zephyr as well. Once again, thanks for following us and liking us and supporting the Mark Twain Zephyr restoration effort at the Wisconsin Great Northern Railroad. We'll see you back next Sunday at this time.
Fly